Hi everyone, my name is Dov Hershkovitz, and this is the Pipeline Offering 13.9 kickoff video. To begin with, as always, we have a planning issue for this iteration and goals to this milestone. And the goals of this milestone is, first and foremost, is to improve the pipeline editor. In 13.8, we've released the MVC version of pipeline editor, and obviously we would like to iterate and implement some improvements. The second milestone is to implement some popular customer requirements. Over the last couple of iterations, we focus mainly on implementing our roadmap, and we would like to make sure we are also satisfying the requirements of the existing customers. As you can see, I've broken down the list of the scope of work for engineers for the deliverables. So we have like 11 deliverables, and there is also around exactly 9 fillers. And the idea here is that the scope of work of the engineers, they should first focus on the deliverable list. Once they've completed, and if they have time, they can continue working on the filler. The idea is to make sure we will be able to implement all the deliverable and then maybe a couple of the filler. So let's go over some of the highlights of this release. The first issue is a telemetry issue. I want to make sure we'll be able to measure GMAR on .com, which is the number of unique users that are doing commits to our GitLab CI YAML file. In this iteration, we'll focus on that .com, and in the next iteration, we will focus on the self-managed version. The second issue is a technical spike. There is a highly demanded feature to allow job to allow job to needs to refer to a job in the same stage. And as I mentioned, this is a very popular requirement. So this is the MR. And I wonder if I can see the requirements, the original requirements. Never mind. So the spike here is actually something, it's a POC. And we want to make sure user will be able to set a need dependency between 2 jobs that are on the same stage. And during some of our technical discussions that we've done over the last couple of weeks over threads, async, and also in a call, we've realized that there are some unknowns and complexity that this feature might introduce. So in order for us to push this forward, we agreed that we'll do a technical spike, see if it's possible, see what we'll uncover on the way. And the idea here is to is not to release this feature as is, but with this MR, we'll be able to maybe improve it a bit more and then provide something that is workable for our users. Okay, and this is the MR that is already undergoing. The next one is an improvement to the pipeline editor, and it is the purpose is to show a version of a merge YAML in the pipeline editor. So as you're probably aware, a lot of our users are using the includes keyword in order to reuse some parts of the pipeline across the board. So they create some global jobs, and when they use the include keywords, those jobs are included into their pipeline. But then it's very hard for users to try and understand how the pipeline looks like, because there are a lot of pipelines that looks only, when you look at the pipeline configuration, you will only see includes. You won't see the jobs themselves. So it is impossible for someone that is looking at the pipeline configuration with the includes keyword to see where this file is coming from. So what is the content of that include keyword? So the idea here is to provide an additional tab when you'll be able to click on it, you will see the merged version or the extended version of the YAML of your pipeline configuration. So it will be easy for you as a user to see what is the content of your configuration if you use the includes keyword. The next one is something that is very, again, very popular requirement. The idea here is to merge YAML blocks, YAML block from another file. So let's say that I have two files, setup.yaml and teardown.yaml, and here I'm using in my main pipeline configuration, I'm using the include keyword to include those two files. The idea here is to provide the user with some sort of syntax so they will be able to merge specific keys, for instance, the script keys here underneath their main pipeline configuration. So if we'll use this solution, we'll be able to merge underneath the script keyword, the script from both the setup.yml and teardown plus something that I've added. And again, it is very common, and it's very common to use the include keyword, and it's very useful for user then to just reference to a central location of the include, just add some of their own script, maybe add some of their own job, and maybe create some basic general jobs like setup and teardown, for example. So they'll be always will be able to use those jobs when they are writing their pipeline configuration. And as I mentioned, this issue is rather new because it is a spin-off of another issue. So this one has like 9 upvote, maybe 10. But if you will open this issue, which was the original one, you will see that it has like more than 120, and there are more. There are like 2 more issues that are almost the same. So obviously we won't close those issues once we'll implement this syntax. First of all, we'll make sure that we'll do some solution validation to make sure that we indeed fulfill the requirements that our users want. Okay, next one is another improvement for the pipeline editor. Today, when you work on the pipeline editor, if you navigate away from the pipeline editor, you will lose all the configurations you have, and this is an improvement to have some sort of a model warning the user that they have unsaved changes and if they want to save them or not. This is another improvement for the pipeline editor, which is to provide an immediate feedback that your pipeline is running. So again, today, when you start working on your pipeline using the pipeline editor, you hit commit. What happens in the background is that the pipeline will start running, but there is no confirmation from the user that the pipeline is running. So this is just adding some sort of a indicator that the pipeline is running. Maybe it stopped, maybe it failed. So this is this issue. This is what this issue is all about. Yeah, and the last one that I wanted to highlight, this is also a popular issue. You see it has 22 upvote, and this is to support multiple cache in the same job. Today we support multiple cache per workflow, and this is another requirement that we get, which is to support multiple cache in the same jobs, in the same job. Yeah, that's it. Of course, there are like more issues, but if you want to go over them thoroughly, you can jump into the planning issue. That's it. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the planning issue or ping me directly. Thanks and bye.